Wendy Brown's Edgework, Critical Essays on Knowledge and Politics was published in 2005. In her book, Brown engages in critical inquiry by challenging established norms and aspirations of left-oriented political and intellectual projects, including feminism itself. She describes her approach as local criticism, which involves critiquing specific constellations of power, reimagining political possibilities, and questioning prevailing assumptions. Brown's aim is not to uncover an ultimate truth or provide definitive answers. Instead, she focuses on critically examining how issues are framed and named, challenging established doctrines, even within the left and feminism, and identifying the underlying forces that shape the problems at hand. She targets boundaries, naming practices, dogmas, and constitutive powers as objects of scrutiny, employing methods such as interrogation, challenge, discernment, and displacement. In contrast to traditional Marxist-derived critical theory, which analyzes systems, totalities, fundamental principles, structural contradictions, and laws of motion, Brown's approach relies on provocative questions rather than declarative statements. Her emphasis on interrogating prevailing narratives reflects the rhetorical and methodological distinctions between her work and its Marxist predecessor. Brown presents a collection of 7 essays that cover various thought-provoking topics. The initial 3 essays, written in the aftermath of September 11, 2001, delve into the rejection of critique as untimely, the psychological aspects of patriotism, and the political rationality of neoliberalism. Chapter 4 offers reflections on the future of political theory, which is highly recommended for aspiring political scientists. Chapter 5 examines the practice of compulsory discursivity during a time characterized by excessive speech and publication. Brown challenges the conventional assumption that silence equates to powerlessness, and suggests that the capacity for silence can be seen as a measure of our desire for freedom. The final 2 chapters of the book, while potentially controversial, are of particular interest to scholars in women's studies and exemplify Brown's approach to critique. In Chapter 6, titled Feminism Unbound, Revolution, Morning Politics, Brown refuses to address the question of whether feminism can exist without sex or gender. Instead, she explores how feminism can thrive without a revolutionary horizon, emphasizing the need for complete mourning of the revolutionary paradigm, and proposing the recuperation of post-revolutionary utopian aspirations for the emancipation of sex and gender. In Chapter 7, The Impossibility of Women's Studies, Brown poses a forbidden question about the viability of women's studies as an institutionalized academic domain. She critiques women's studies for circumscribing the concept of women as an object of study, suggesting that such an approach can lead to conservatism within the field. Brown argues that by protecting the object of study, women's studies may risk losing its critical and political significance. Edgework explores the intellectual and political significance of critique itself. The book revitalizes the ancient understanding of critique as crisis, where a rupture in the fabric of justice becomes an opportunity for public reflection, the development of judgment criteria, and the initiation of political rejuvenation or restoration. Each essay in the collection examines a contemporary issue, such as the accusation of being unpatriotic for dissenting from U.S. foreign policy, the erosion of liberal democracy due to neoliberal political rationality, or feminism's loss of a revolutionary perspective. Through these analyses, The book aims to comprehend the intellectual deadlock presented by these problems, while also uncovering their potential for political mobilization.